am Pavani and I represent ACE Career Consultants. You see our website address here, our contact number. And if you have any questions throughout the session, you have an option to, drop down your questions in the questions tab here, so that once we are done with this session, I can answer all the questions at once, right? And as I said, we'll start with why study in Australia. And before we proceed, we will speak about why Australia, because it is, everybody knows it's an English speaking country, and it's a tropical region. Because of it being the tropical region, students might not have to undergo too many climatic variations, climatic changes. There are many students who are very sensitive towards the cold climates, and Australia being the tropical region, students might not have to go through that drastic difference. The maximum temperature differences from India to Australia is hardly 2 to 3 degrees centigrade here and there, not more than that. And you don't have a lot of hot summers. You don't get to see a lot of snowy flakes or frozen lakes kind of stuff. And there are wonderful scholarship opportunities available. There are work rights are legal in Australia, and they respect the dignity of labor. Labor is highly appreciated, and the cultural diversity, the friendly natives in Australia are always giving that warm welcome to the international students. And before we proceed, I just wanted to tell who we are. Right, we are certified, counselors. We have certified counselors who, properly train our or counsel our students to have a better career opportunities and assured returns on their investments. And we have a special team who separately give a visa counseling. See, counseling doesn't just fall under giving you a bit of piece of information and then pushing you out. We have trained or certified counselors and trainers who train students with the upgraded industry information. We are partners with British Council and Pearson, which means that we have the first-hand information from both these providers. And we have branches in Sydney, Hyderabad, Vizag, Kadapa, Kurnool, Tirupati, and Punjab. And hopefully we shall start up with a few more soon. And at the same time, we even counsel for permanent residencies both in Australia and Canada. We can even assist you guys with work permits in UK. And for any further information, you can WhatsApp us or call us on the the below mentioned contact number, or visit our website to drop your questions. Right. And what do we do? See, this is what we are and what do we do? As I mentioned, we are career counsels. We give you the right information, and we don't insist on somebody saying that we represent these universities, you need to go, or these gives you better returns. No, we counsel students from the student's point of view, not from the business point of view. And my team is very good at it, and we always make sure what are the prerequisites for any program that we are going to suggest. Will the student be able to cope up with this program that we are going to suggest, and will the student have a proper fruitful results taking up this particular program? And we make sure our applications are visa assured. Making just an application doesn't mean you get an offer. We can't do anything with an offer until unless you could get a visa, right? So we make sure we put things in place that the visa guidelines are properly and thoroughly followed and observed, to make sure that we have visa success to every profile that we are working in. we're working on. And not just the visa application, we even help students with pre and post departures, on arrival services, post landing services, like the accommodations, switching of program if ever they think they need additional assistance on their programs, and any additional support that they need to take up from the university or the faculty. We are always a call away. Since we have our office in Sydney, it is more easier and flexible for us to work on it. This is the political map of Australia. It's a very, very beautiful place to live in. And the capital of Australia is Canberra. This is the capital of capital of Australia, Canberra, and very popular and the biggest city, Sydney. These are a few other popular destinations in Australia. And as you all know, the Sydney Harbour is most iconic site in the country. And, definitely it's something that you would have heard of. And the Performance Arts Center is famous for its, spherical sanctioned shells, which attracts millions of tourists every year. And in fact, UNESCO World Heritage Site is one of the most widest tourist attraction in Australia, and one of the most distinct building of the 20th century. And there are wonderful and beautiful beaches that you get to see throughout Australia. And the famous Bondi Beach, which is surrounded by the Sydney suburb. You get to see all nationalities, I can say, and there are many popular movies that are shot there in Bondi Beach, where one of our Bollywood movie Dil Chahta Hai was also shot there, where they said it's in Goa though, right? And that's about the perfect, wonderful, yeah. And these are the typical animals that you see in Australia. Australia is famous worldwide for especially these two species, koalas and kangaroos. In fact, kangaroo is the national animal of the country, and there are very different and unique species that you find in Australia, right? Very, very poisonous snakes and poisonous spiders. The spider's poison is very, very high in demand in researchers, and by the druggists, in special by the research scientists, and all that stuff. And there are white snakes, and there are many creatures and reptiles that you don't see anywhere else but only in Australia, right? And now talking about the Australia, and taking Australia as the steady destination. Australia has got many universities globally ranked, and Australia has actually got 43 universities, among which 40 universities are Australian universities, among which two are international universities, and one is a private specialty university. Like, along with other universities, many other institutes also offer higher education. Well, you might ask me, how would I get to know which university to choose if it is not from the university, or how to identify these higher education providers? Will it be safe, the program that I study? Yes, Australian universities have got all their groundwork done so well that they have made this CRICOS, the Commonwealth Register for institutions and courses for overseas education, for overseas students. For example, if a student has to take up a program, an international student, that program has to have a CRICOS code. Until unless a CRICOS code is provided to any program, international students are not allowed to take up. This is something that you guys have to be aware of. And this is governed by Australian government registrar, and there is a portal where all the list of programs that are offered by different universities and assigned CRICOS codes are mentioned. And There are many private and small technical institutes are also allowed to, provide services to international students. The Australian university system is largely funded through government researchers and teaching grants, and students don't have to just take up a bachelor's program or a university degree straight away. For example, I am very desirous to go to Australia. However, my scores are a little low than what they actually are looking at. Then I would definitely can't meet the entry requirement. But since I am very desirous and I have, all the prerequisites required, except in one particular segment, like for example, consider that is academic itself, right? Then we have an option to bridge the program. Or if there is a student who has taken up a program in bachelor's for civil or mechanical and is very ambitious to move towards the other stream like IT or core electronics or aeronautics or robotics, which is a complete switch from what his previous education is. Well, I have an option to swap my program when I am moving to the next level of education, right? Through a bridge program or a packaged program, or I am an IT graduate and I'm not able to get into, the MBA or the core international business management programs, then I will still have an option to take up my program. It's just that I need to package my program with a bridge course. That could be a diploma or a pathway course, which is again certified by the same or recognized by the Australian institutes and has a criteria score. And if ever my English is not English, as we being Asians, we will definitely have to give the English entrance exam, and we will have to meet the entry requirement, which is 6.5, no subscore less than 6. If ever there is one odd case where one or two modules we are falling a zero point 0.5 short of, we can still request the university and check if we can get through. That again depends to case and course to course. And there is again an option where if you are falling short of one or two modules with one bandage, like if the requirement is 6.5 and if you're falling at 6, or two bands 5.5. So those cases, universities always gives us a packaged programs like the English. You will have to go through a 3-week, 4-week, or a 6-week, depending on how many modules you are falling short of and what is the prerequisite of that program. Depending on that, up to 12 weeks of English you can take up, and then you can bridge your program to the master's or bachelor's. Right. And every student is eligible for post-study work rights, provided the program that they're going to choose is at least for 2 long years. And, you might ask me that, with the current COVID situation, we are taking up programs online. How about it? I will get to that very soon. Right, but still the post-study work rights are always available, and with the new changes, we have up to 4 years, and we will discuss about that as well very soon. And there are multiple opportunities for students who study there or graduate from Australia to settle right in the country. Yes, it is definitely getting tougher and tougher, which means the standards of Australian living and education system is also high, and it is highly respected globally. And Australia is defaultly English speaking country. Yes, it is Aussies as their civilians, but around 75% of Australia currently is non-Australians, or any one of their parents are from outside Australia. And it is a tropical region and very, very, very safe for international students or the citizens there. Very safe atmosphere, for international students. Both Sydney and Melbourne are ranked globally under 10 for the most livable cities and affordable cities. They are very beautiful, pretty, and very well organized. At the same time, they are affordable also, which is very, very tough to handle. Right. And Australia has always been taking their making sure they have their place in their global participations in every aspect. That could be sports, that could be education, that could be technology, that could be management, living, culture, diversity, and you name it, they have it, is something that I can confidently say. Right. And they have all Aussies are very sweet, and the Australians are very civilized, civilized, smart civilians, I must say. And as I said, Australia has, up to 4 years of post-study. 4 years of post-study. How is it possible? What are, the different, uh, how can somebody get 4 years post-study? It is pretty simple. Australia, now these days you must be getting to hear a lot of things about, Australia is getting tougher and tougher for permanent residency. The point scale is going high, and the regional part of Australia is also getting overcrowded and stuff. But that is, that has not 100% truth in it, but however, there is definitely some truth that we must talk about. Yes, both Sydney and Melbourne are getting overcrowded. That is the reason Australian government is asking, the people to move towards the regional, so that the regional Australia also gets developed. And in that process, Australia has come up with the 4-year post-study option, where students are eligible to stay for 4 years after the graduation from a regional university. Regional means, everything apart from Sydney in New South Wales, and we have many places like Northern Territory, Adelaide, Sydney, South Australia, Perth, like, all the regions have got, excluding the major cities, if anybody wants to get into, the regional part of Australia, they are, always have this red carpet welcome to stay back for 4 years. Along with this, they will even get additional 5 points for which adds up to their PR points. And it is very easy to, Australian, education system allows students, married cases, which means students are allowed to take their dependents where the permanent residency or, the government benefits are even provided to the dependents of the student. And there are many more flexible options that Australia has provided for students, and there are flexible changes. For example, a student, as I mentioned previously, student wants to switch a program. For example, he's initially made the application to Sydney, and after reaching the Sydney, he understands that the regional opportunities are really great, and they really want to move to a regional part of it. Yes, he can swap with the credit exemption. Again, it depends on the program that he's taking and the duration. If the course is only for 2 years, that is studying from the regional, university, then students can, would be eligible for this 4 years of post-study. So students have to choose really, really smart when they're taking up their programs. And, actually speaking, the regional part of, Australia is more beautiful. And, the Blue Mountains National Park, the Kakandu National Park are all, towards the, the regional part of it. One best thing that I always feel great of is the Great Barrier Reef, which is one of the 7 wonders of the natural world and one of the Australia's most famous natural attraction. It is features the world's largest coral reef. Also, you get those nice very, very big and perfect shaped pearls we find here, because it has got huge reefs. And the Great Ocean Road, and that's an amazing drive that you would love to go for. The one side of the ride is all ocean, and the other side is all the mountains, like world's best drive, a long drive, you can say. And we have got beautiful surfing destinations, rainforests, mountains, national parks, and many more. Because the 59,000 kilometers a long way is all the coastal area, which means you step in, step out, you'll find a beach. And there are pink lakes that you see, and white sand beaches. The nature beauty is amazing. And not only the nature beauty, and there are many popular popular personalities are from Australia, like Hugh Jackson. I'm sure everyone must be knowing Hugh Jackson, the Joker, who made the world cry and is an amazing actor. Cate Blanchett, and the stunning Oscar winner, uh, Indiana Jones, Robin Hood, the Hobbit actors. And there are amazing things that we have to, if we have to talk about Australia, it's like great. And it's not only about the nature beauty, it's not only about the education, it's about everything. Australia is pretty popular about. And the courses that are offered in Australia are all accredited. Most of the programs are global accredited, like accounting, CPA. Australia, they have Institute of Chartered Accounting, accurate studies. They have global international accurate associations, banking, finance, like every segment, engineering, technology, every segment, they have got their own identifications and representations that the world is looking for. Along with this, the post study of 4 years is definitely a good news for all the international students, for them to make their mark, gain the first hand skill, great knowledge from the country. Regional Australia is like very low populated. There are many metropolitan areas. Regional area doesn't mean that it is the complete countryside. You only see farms and fields and the farmers working. No, that's absolutely wrong. The regional Australia also has a lot of metropolitan areas. And as I said previously, South Wales, everywhere except Sydney, Newcastle, Central Coast and Wollongong. Except Sydney, even in Wollongong and Newcastle, you get to stay additional year. For example, if you study in Sydney, you only get a 2-year post-study. Well, if you study in Wollongong or Newcastle, you're still eligible for a 3-year post-study. Northern Territory, Queensland, everywhere, South Australia, everywhere in the state. See, it's like, it's a great opportunity for international students. And with, a lot of restrictions for third-party applications, which means restrictions for third-party applications means that previously all the applications globally were accepted for the permanent residency. If ever you're meeting the requirements, or if you have the required points, you're allowed to get a permanent residency in Australia. But there is a lot of restriction that has come up on it, which is a good thing for students, right? Which means they have their own slab. They have their own slab where they have to, meet the requirements. And with this, international students will be able to take up that opportunity, and students will have, more, less competition and more success rate to get the permanent residency. And cost of living. What is cost of study in Australia? It is pretty decent, and it varies from 20,000 to 35,000 per annum for an undergraduate degree, and 24,000 to 40,000 per annum for a postgraduate degree. There are additional scholarships available, and as we discussed previously, English language studies, which would cost us somewhere around 350 to 450 per week. That depends on the number of weeks the student was given. And the expenses, an international student can work for 40 hours fortnight, which means 20 hours a week, and he's allowed to work full time during the vacation. And as a student, there are many students who really don't want to give that additional burden on their parents, and they just take the basic support from the family, and the rest they make their money through their hard work. They have opportunities through internships, they have opportunities outside the market, and there are many opportunities available, and the salary varies somewhere around between 1925 to 25 AUD, depending on the sector that one is choosing. And this is only for students who are above 18 and not for minors who are below 18. And we have 2 years masters, 3 years and 4 years bachelors. And bachelors, we have 4 years also, which is called an honors degree, which is almost equivalent to a master's in India, and highly respected. And every program that is studied, like a diploma or a bachelor's or a master's, they will be eligible for at least 2 years of post study, which means the full-time work rights. Living expenses will definitely vary from city to city and suburb to suburb, and it is definitely lower than United States and United Kingdom, is something that we can confidently say. And these are the basic numbers that that you get to see on the screen, where students make, this is as per the survey conducted by the government, and this keeps fluctuating. Most of the students say they are able to make more than that, and there are few students who say, I don't think we will be able to make up till this month. That completely depends on one's personal ability, and how smart you are and how smart you play. And coming to the application process, application is a very, very simple process. You will only have to gather all the prerequisite documents, like, depending on the course that we are applying, bachelor's or master's. We will gather all this information, and we will have to definitely write down a statement of purpose. Statement of purpose will, is a tool for, or we can say it is one of the major prerequisites that universities as well the immigration is looking at this point of time. SOP, you will have to, I personally recommend every student to write it all themselves. That is when you will understand what research you're doing on your program, what is the reason for you to choose this program, what is the reason for you to choose Australia as your destination, what comparisons have you made, and what are the other opportunities available in the market. With all the all the prerequisites of the program and the SOP, we will make the application. If everything is met, then we will receive an offer, which could be a conditional or a clear offer. Conditional means that if there is anything that university needs additional information or documentation, if we provide that along with the financials, we would get a clear offer. Afterwards, university will conduct a GTA interview and will assess all the financial documents. Financial documents play very major role in Australian application process. Once a student is through the interview and the financial assessment, they will be allowed to proceed to make the payment along with the health insurance, which you can take up from the university, or if you know a provider, you can even take it out. And then once everything is clear, we will submit it and get a clear offer, get the medicals done, and apply for a confirmation of enrollment, which is a very important document for visa lodgement, right? And then once we have all the documents ready, then we are ready to file the visa. And visa process, everybody says Australian visa is very lengthy, it's tricky, and very strong. I will not say no, but I will say, if you have things in place, you can definitely, it is very easy to crack Australian visa. It's just that how well you're presenting your application, how well you're organizing your profile, and if how well you're meeting the prerequisites of the program or the immigration requirements, and what funds are actually required. How are you able to gather those funds? And if you are able to show all that, and if you have any questions in regards to it, you can drop down your questions, and maybe we will be able to answer you soon. And then all these are put together, and then it will take not less than 30 to 45 days to hear from immigration. But at times there are many scenarios we have got instant visa approvals, and there are many times where we got our visa outcome within a week time also. So that completely depends on the flow of the High Commission, the visa flows that they have, or the case officer, and the strength of the profile. Altogether, it's case to case, and there's a good success rate for Australian visa. So key factors, as I mentioned, these are the key factors for Australian visa success. As I said initially, statement of purpose, right from the from the day one where you start the application till the time you launch the visa. Statement of purpose plays a very major role, where you will have to clearly declare what is the purpose of your study, what are your outcomes, what is the reason for you to choose this university, what comparisons have you made, and putting the profile in a better way makes a very great difference. And English proficiency score is highly recommended to keep it high, because High Commission is very keen about the English course. Previously, they used to accept South Asians also without the English course, depending on their previous medium of instruction and all the other parameters. But now that is not happening. They are very strong with the English course and the financials, I can say. And you can ask me, as I said, I will come back to the point of, the current COVID situation, and what are the different preventive measures that the Australian government is taking up, and what are, how students who are stuck there, and what about the students who are stuck in India without studying. See, Australia is one of those countries who have compact with COVID, and they are very safe, with very globally compared, they are able to handle COVID really well, with the great awareness into the people. They have come up with many COVID safe apps, Coronavirus Australia app, WhatsApp channel, to give all first-hand information. And they made sure that there is no wrong or miscommunication made into the public, so that that pandemic is causing more depression into the people, kind of a stuff. They have made a clear awareness throughout through the social media apps, or word of mouth, or first-hand information through WhatsApp, or these the other channels. I've you get to see this score on the, this is yesterday's. If you get to see that, yeah, I have mentioned the date as well. This is as till yesterday. This is what it is, the total number of cases, and the state-wise segregation. The total number of active cases currently are 12, and the least number of cases were found in Northern Territory, which is regional. As I said, regional are nice and more happening. This is one of those groups. And the highly affected is Victoria, where we get to see a lot of crowd, and Melbourne is one of those places where international students prefer to study. And unfortunately, because of the international flow, or maybe because of the too much crowd in that country, in that city, and within the country, within the state, the spread was really high, and the maximum number of unfortunate deaths and cases are all in Victoria. And at the same time, the restrictions were also, taken at high priorities, and They made sure that everybody is safe, and all the priority works were given. And there are many professions where they got selected professions has got high paid and more number of work rights. Especially international students have were given unlimited work rights. And from the day one, right from March, all the international students were asked to take up online classes, and till date they are not restricting any of the students to attend the classes physically. It's completely students option. If they want to take up online sessions or the physical sessions, they're absolutely fine with it. And they are even open for students to come to campus for any of their doubts, or to clarify any of their subject questions or doubts that they have. And there are many universities who give additional scholarships and fee waivers. And the High Commission have also given visa fee waivers for those who are making visa extensions, or visa fees who are like COVID affected. The visa fees is completely waived. And the one great thing and one amazing thing that our Australian government have come up with is they have strictly want all the employees to not downsize their staff. And they've funded many of the companies, and they've released a lot of relief funds towards these organizations so that they can pay their employees, and they've paid their expenses, which is something really great to hear from the Australia. And many universities have also received grants from the government, where because of which university are giving additional scholarships to the students. They are giving additional grants to the students, which means the current students are also given the cashback rewards, or the COVID expenses. And there are many additional services that Australian universities and colleges and government together are providing to the the international students. And there is a university in Darwin, which is like Charles Darwin is organizing a flight for international students, a chartered flight actually. They have booked a chartered flight for students who want to fly for this November, sorry, for this March 2021. And once the student is all ready with all his or her documents along with the visa grant, they are ready to take off. And that is in association with the government and the college. That's really nice that they are taking an additional step for the students to encounter the international comfort. And that's about it from my side. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.